Hi guys, it's Lucy, and today I'm coming to you guys with a very belated The Reading Quest wrap-up. So yeah, the Reading Quest has been over for over 2 weeks now as I'm filming this. I haven't filmed a video in about 2 weeks as well, so there's that. Life's been busy, I'm in school, blah blah blah, no one cares. In case you don't know, the Reading Quest was a readathon that took place between I think August 13th and September 13th or somewhere in those dates. I could definitely be wrong about those dates, I probably am. And the basis of it was that you get to take part in like quests and stuff for like certain kinds of RPG characters. I took part in the Knight character path. There were also side quests that you could complete, and basically each book you read went for a specific quest, which were like the reading challenges, and yeah, and you could earn experience points and health points by reading and doing various things. I'm just going to tell you guys how I did during the readathon, what I read, what I started, what quests I completed, all that stuff. So first, here's my completed The Reading Quest spread in my bullet journal, in case anyone cares. Probably no one does, but I'm pretty proud of it. I think it's cute. I think in the future I will like do spreads for the readathons I take part in during the months, just because, I don't know, I had fun filling it out, and it helped me keep track of what I was going to read, what I was planning to read, and like especially for this one with the experience points and stuff, like these bars were helpful and, I don't know, fun to look at. I did not finish any character path, as I mentioned before. I started with the character path. I started 7 quests, and I actually finished 4 quests, and 3 of those quests were for the Knight path, so I was like over halfway done with the Knight path by the end, and I completed 1 side quest. So the quests that I started but didn't finish were the first book in a series, and the book I used for that was The Conspiracy of Us by Maggie Hall. I actually DNF'd this during the readathon, so that quest didn't get completed. If I had time, I probably would have chosen a different book, but I didn't have time. But I'm also trading this book now, so if you're interested, I have a books for trade post up on Twitter. A book concocted by 2 or more authors. For this, I started reading I Hate Everyone But You by Gabby Dunn and Allison Raskin. As I said, I finished this after the readathon completed. Actually, the day after the readathon, I was really close, but yeah. And since I did get that book on NetGalley for review, I will be doing a full video review whenever I feel up to doing video reviews. And the last quest I started but didn't complete was a book set in either the future or the past. If you saw my TBR for this readathon, you'll know I had a different book set out for this, but I didn't feel like reading that anymore. So I started reading The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, and I finished that after the readathon, but I had a good time while I was reading it during the readathon. So now on to the things that I actually completed. I ended up getting 50 experience points, which means I ended up on level 2 by the end of the readathon, which is fun, you know. Probably would have done better. Definitely actually would have done better if I had finished a path, but it's whatever. I ended up with 132 health points. So I am a very low level character in the RPG that is reading. So first let's talk about the quests that I finished for the actual Knight path, and then we'll go on to the 1 side quest I completed. First, I finished a book with a verb in its title, and for that I read Born a Crime by Trevor Noah. Born a Crime is Trevor Noah's memoir. He is the host of The Daily Show on Comedy Central, is that what it's called? And he's a comedian. This is his memoir of him growing up in South Africa as a mixed child with a black mother and a white father, which at the time that he was born was when apartheid was a thing in South Africa, so his being born was actually a crime, hence the title. And I loved this. I gave it 5 stars. There was no part of this that I can think of that I didn't enjoy, and I feel like I learned a lot more than I expected to as well. I know hardly anything about South Africa or what life was like during apartheid, so to get this first-person experience was really valuable. I listened to the audiobook of this, which was also read by Trevor, and so I would be going around being like, well, Trevor told me this story, like, to my friends as I was listening to it. Like, it was a lot, but like, it just feels like he's reading it to you, and he's such a funny guy. I enjoy his segments on The Daily Show, so that might have something to do with it. Like, I already knew his comedy style, but it worked perfectly well in this book. I thought it was very well written, and if you have any interest in Trevor Noah at all, or think he's funny, or just have an interest in South Africa. I mean, a lot of the stories are Trevor specific, obviously, but they do deal with like larger topics such as being mixed race, what life was like for his family, even because most of his family was black. So yeah, I definitely recommend it. I really can't see not wanting to read it, honestly. Next, I finished the quest of reading a book with a weapon on the cover. The book I chose for this was definitely a stretch, but here we are. I chose Genuine Fraud by Lockhart. You can see on the cover there are scissors, which I have designated as a weapon. This is an art copy I got from BookCon. I'm like, where did I go? It's signed and everything. Signed. And there's some stamps in there too. So there's that. This is really hard to explain. Every time I've given a summary, I just read the back cover, but I'm too lazy to do that. So basically, we follow a girl named Jewel, who in the first chapter we see she is kind of on the run from something. You don't know what, you don't know why. And the book follows how she got to that point and like her as a character. I ended up giving this 3.5 stars. I was pretty close to giving it a 3-star. I didn't, the first of the book especially, I didn't really enjoy a lot, but then halfway through you kind of get through the like hump. I don't know, like the first like action thing happened, and then from that I kept wanting to know more and more. But overall, I found this kind of confusing and kind of the storytelling a little bit annoying. I found it kind of confusing because most of the story is actually told backwards. So one chapter will talk about the last week of February, and then the next chapter you would think would talk about the first week of March actually talks about the 3rd week in February, so it goes back in time, which was confusing, especially in the beginning because it starts in present day and then it goes back. And I also found this storytelling a little bit annoying because the author makes a lot of references to like the straight white hetero hero or the hetero white hero or something, and how like it's kind of weird. I don't really know how to explain it, but I thought it was especially weird because technically the main character is a white hetero hero because yes, she's a girl, but she's still white, and as far as we know, heterosexual. I shouldn't make that assumption because it's not directly said, but her only love interest was a male character. She showed no romantic interest in the female characters from what I read into the text. And when I was reading reviews for this book, I also saw that apparently it is very similar to The Talented Mr. Ripley. I don't know who that was by, but I'm pretty sure that's a pretty well-known book. I haven't read it, or I actually haven't heard of it before I read those reviews, but it seems like a kind of well-known book. Lockhart does reference that as inspiration for this book, but a lot of the reviews said it was very, very similar. So I definitely liked We Were Liars better. I thought the twist in We Were Liars was better. The twist in this I thought was not exactly unexpected, but just it didn't make sense for where I thought the story was going, what the story was doing in my opinion. And I didn't think the writing in this was the strongest either. But yeah, this is definitely my least favorite of Lockhart's books, but I have the signed arc. And the last quest I finished for the Night Path was a book with a red cover, and for that I read The Queen of the Tearling by Erika Johansen. This goes under Born a Crime for my favorite book that I read for this readathon. I loved reading this. I love being immersed in the world of this story. We follow our main character, who is Kelsey, who is about to become the new Queen of the Tearling. She's finally come of age, and she kind of has to get her kingdom back in order. It basically takes place in a regressed society. Today's present day is the past for this society, but they have no technology, no computers or anything like that. They don't have cars. They get around with horses and carriages and things like that, but it's set in the future. And we follow Kelsey as she has to kind of fix the disrepair that her kingdom is in. And I feel like I'm doing a terrible job of explaining this, but like you can read the summary on Goodreads. It's really good. I feel like the summary probably doesn't do it justice. I really didn't know that much about it other than what I just told you, and I really loved it. I appreciated that our heroine wasn't the typical YA heroine who was like smart, beautiful, clumsy, but yet somehow a very adept fighter and all these things. She is very smart, which is her strong suit. That's kind of where the book focuses. It's actually said in the story she looks very plain, which, not that I want everyone to look plain, but I think it's refreshing. Not everyone can be like model-esque gorgeous. I thought the writing was so well done. It kept me on the edge of my seat when I need to be kept on the edge of my seat. I also thought it was very informative. This actually goes through multiple points of view, so you can see other characters and what they're doing, where they're at. And I thought that was interesting and definitely a great choice because it doesn't happen so often that you get confused over who am I following, what's going on, but like it happens at good times for you to like just get a better feel of like what is going on with everybody. And yeah, I just really enjoyed it. I'm currently reading The Invasion of the Tearling, which I am also enjoying. Not quite as much as The Queen of the Tearling, but definitely enough to definitely finish it and probably read The Fate of the Tearling quite soon. But yeah, this is the first time in like a long while that I've just like really gotten into a series and like really enjoyed it. So I'm really glad I started this. And lastly, we will talk about the side quest that I completed, which was to basically read anything you want. And for this, I read Talking as Fast as I Can from Gilmore Girls to Gilmore Girls and Everything in Between by Lauren Graham. I listened to this on audiobook. After reading Born a Crime, I wanted to listen to more celebrity memoirs on audio because I think it's really nice that usually these are read by the author who is like the celebrity. So I gave this 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. Not quite as much as I expected to. I did expect a little more discussion of Gilmore Girls since, you know, it's in the title, but really there was like 1 chapter, like maybe 2 chapters about the original series and then like another chapter or 2 like towards the end of the book about the new reboot. So I did expect a little more, but the chapters that were there, the ones for the original series, like really brought back nostalgic feelings of me watching the first series for the first time, and then the chapters about her filming the reboot just kind of brought in a new perspective that I enjoyed. And I also did enjoy being able to hear about Lauren Graham's like earlier life and like other career choices. I also expected there to be a little bit more on parenthood, which I haven't yet watched, but the show was over 100 episodes, so I just expected that to be a larger part of her memoir. But I guess instead of focusing on the TV show she took part in, she did focus more on her personal life, which was enjoyable because I really didn't know anything about her personal life before. The one thing that I just didn't really like is that Lauren Graham seems to have taken on the old person persona of millennials don't know what they're missing out by using those new fangled technology phones. She really took that on. Like, there was a whole chapter dedicated to like that kind of stuff, like talking about like how in my day we didn't have this and like blah blah blah, which I'm not a huge fan of. Like, I don't need older people telling me how to live my life. But other than that, I enjoyed this book, and it was only like a chapter or 2, so it wasn't like so much of it that it like really bothered me so much. Those are the books that I started and finished for the Reading Quest. I will hopefully have a September wrap up with the books that I didn't finish during the Reading Quest and other books that I read in September eventually. I don't know. Like, life's been busy, as I said at the beginning of the video, but yeah, thanks so much for watching. If you liked this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up in the comments down below. Tell me if you took part in the Reading Quest, if you have any opinion about the books that I talked about, or anything else you feel so inclined to comment on. And if you haven't already, please be sure to subscribe to my channel because I make more videos where I talk about books. Again, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Bye!